Solana ecosystem faces 99% decrease in revenue. Well, we should know that and look into that. But that's come from the pump fund and the meme coin mania that sort of imploded and wasn't good for Solana in the first place. They caught a lot of flack over that, and largely that helped with the sell pressure. Just a quick reminder as well, there's still quite a large amount of Solana that is coming unlocked in April and May, but I think a lot of that is sell pressure has been front run, and we've seen the worst of it. Okay, and so those would be the people that bought Solana out of FTX bankruptcy. So look, show me the charts. I'll tell you the news. I'm not going to back away from this. The news is narrative, but the charts tell us the facts. And if this thing is starting to push higher, it's encouraging. I want to see how this candle closes, and I would be careful going heavy into tomorrow. But I don't really care on this. The markets price things in very efficiently. So this sell-off preceded a lot of the other sell-offs in the markets here, and really was steeper. So Solana bulls are, the sellers I think are exhausted here. There will be some sell pressure, but it's not a tremendous amount. So that when those other unlocks come in, again, the hedge funds that bought up Solana from FTX out of the bankruptcy, their basis is around $64, $65. So there's less incentive for them to dump it here. Sure, it would still be a double, but they're likely looking at the same things. Maybe sell some, but hold on to it. This is still my base case, and I think will be one of the strongest horses in the bull run when it starts to go. Okay, some votes here. People wanting to do charts more than news. I kind of was feeling that, so let me just skim through this. There's lots of news out there, and you can spend your whole day watching news and YouTube videos. So just to skim this, so since we're on Solana, and that is one of our biggest that we talk about, that dropped the network value a lot on the Solana exchange, but still they are pushing quite a bit of volume through the sort of Ethereum virtual machines and that whole volume on the network. So Solana is still very strong. And but this is basically saying, I don't want to go into the weeds. Meme coins are dead. Solana 100x better despite revenge plunge. Yeah, so this is good. This is good for Solana in the long run, I believe. The meme coin economy composed much of the Solana ecosystem's value. Just in case you're wondering what happened to Solana, why is it going down? That a deep contraction in meme coin volumes could cause a cascade of revenue declines. Well, that's true, but really they are winning the transaction per second game. And Fire Dancer is still to come out this year soon. It's a level 2, but promises 500,000 to 1 million TPS transactions per second, which is huge. So this game and this war is still very much alive. Layer 1 transactions per second are sort of kind of instantaneous and happen on the blockchain. It's harder to get those TPS higher. Layer 2s use sort of a different kind of batching system so they can claim faster transactions, but they're really not completely settled until later. But of course, the reason I like the TPS sector is think MasterCard and Visa, companies that make money or that can take a small toll booth fee on massive volumes. We're still in a nascent industry. We call this crypto, still growing quite a bit. If you're ever unsure, we were out with some friends over the weekend I was having a heated discussion with none other than my friend who's an old friend of Michael Saylor's, but he does not share Michael's views. He's very anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto. And I said, he said, nobody even knows about this. And turned to the person next to me, he goes, do you own any Bitcoin? And the guy said, what? And he said, see? But he just didn't hear him. And I said, Bitcoin. He goes, oh no, I've been wanting to learn about that. So point being, still very early, you guys. It doesn't mean we're not going to have volatility, but just a reminder, in our world, you're saying, yeah, I know this already. Most people, the normies, they don't know any of it. 60% of Solana's economy is highly exposed to meme coin activity. This is worth noting. And Telegram bots, launch pads, so not ideal. In terms of transactions per second, they don't really build that in. So potential risk there. Here's my thing. The reason I say show me the charts, around the world in the big hedge funds, they employ people way smarter than me and rooms full of PhDs and mathematicians and quants. And to me, this is how they're voting with hedge fund money and institutional money. That's why our signals are so useful. You don't need to really know all of the news. You can read it in the charts. This is voting with dollars. And so the fact that Solana is up, and these things do cycle up and down, obviously, but the buyers are back in control. I think we do push up into this range and then come back down. And then we maybe see some of this, meme coin profits are down, etc. But the sellers are exhausted. It's the green team's turn in the tug of war to go higher, I believe. If we sell off end of the day, however, and let me just note that, end of day patterns are what we want to pay attention to. We've seen this often, especially on Tuesdays, where we have a sell-off end of the day, Tuesdays and Fridays. So if we sell off end of the day and this ERI goes away, not trying to rhyme here, then that invalidates it. That's why I always use end of period data. End of week, end of day, even 1 hour, 4 hour, which we could pull up here and look at that as well if we want to, but that's usually a little bit granular. We'll do that in tomorrow's class. So if you're not a member of M3, make sure to go over, check out moonstream.io/M3. That's our highest level active trading program with coin picks and daily commentary. Let's see, Sam saying we're not going to be able to make any real movement on the debt unless they cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. No politicians suicidal enough to do that. Yeah, that's above my pay grade. But yeah, I had this discussion with one of our M3 members, Mike, the other day, and just sort of talking about all these cuts that they're doing through Doge and everything else. The budget for all of that is like maybe 4%, 4.5% of the whole GDP. Don't quote me on that, but his suggestion was it's all a bit of noise and not really going to make an impact. And the bigger numbers are Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. I don't know. I don't know. That's for someone else to decide and worry about. So I'll go back to the charts and see what that tells us. But again, we are in a swing trading environment. Do take profits in these sell zones. And the other tool that we always use, and people ask, when should I take profits? We have created our own Bollinger Band. This is a crypto Bollinger Band, our B Pro. I'm turning off my moving averages here, or at least the shorter term one. Look at the confluence here on Solana, though, by the way. The 50-day exponential moving average, that's like the ice. If you're under the ice, then you're drowning. Resistance, but this red line is our upper Bollinger Band of the Bollinger Band Pro. These are our signals that we are proprietary and are designed specifically for crypto. And the normal Bollinger Band doesn't work for crypto. We had to tweak some of the coding in there, the standard deviation, and made it, but it works perfectly with these settings. When you see it go above or touch or go above that upper Bollinger Band, especially when we get a red line, that's the sell sign, especially excuse me, at resistance. And we've been selling off ever since, all the way down, all the way down. Anytime we touch the upper Bollinger Band, likely going to pull back, and often the lower Bollinger Band is likely to rally higher. So where's my target on Sol? 150, right in there. And if it gets above it, I have the alert here. You can see Solana crossing up 160, TP for take profits. Why 160? That's the opening of the sell block. That's where the sellers are. These are sell orders on the books. Do you want to be holding on and letting people sell in front of you? This is a good way to front run and get out. I also like the midpoint of these, 170. And if it's feeling strong, also there's potential for this 180 right in there, because see that was prior resistance. And that's how you do the best profit taking, is to sell at various levels. Okay, you're taking profits on the way up. All right, so you guys all have that covered. And so basically, I'll save the charts for tomorrow's class in M3 Active Trader. This is our crypto mastery class, really designed to talk about the signals and how to read them. So I may pull up a 1 hour, 4 hour, and talk about average true range. But just skimming the markets here, that's USDT dominance is down. That's inverse study that we've been watching. I'll cover that tomorrow in M3 Trader. And seen some nice little bounces on some things. I'm not ready to go and buy anything. Certainly not ahead of tomorrow. And so I have my, buy limit orders in just like in real estate, you make money where you buy. So if you buy below market, so I do have buy orders in this green box, as I said, on Solana. The other things I'm watching and may own some of Aptos. Also in buy blocks, guys, if you see buy blocks in green ERIs and the other things are sort of setting up, absent of any major news, like tomorrow, I think next few days we see some volatility, so you might want to be careful. But to me, these are, let me go back to Aptos here, just basic chart reading, holding higher lows, holding in the green boxes. So once you see it, you can't unsee it. Those buy sell blocks are so good. It's almost made it, I won't say too easy, because this is anything but easy, but it really has given us a huge advantage. And it took us a while to say, I don't know about these buy blocks, but are they legit? But they are, and it's almost that simple on many of the trades. If you buy in the green box, buy in green, sell in red. That's kind of my new mantra. Helium had rejected at the 50-day EMA, probably heading down into a buy block. A couple of these others we've been watching, starting to see some bullish reversals. Again, we'll cover that more tomorrow in the M3 class. SUI's up nicely, nearly 10%. See a nice bullish engulfing candle. And in ERI, when you see multiple ERIs in a row, by the way, it is a sign of strength. So, and one of the strategies that Joe was trying to teach me at one point, and we were going to adapt a new variation of trading strategy, is along the building positions at every ERI. And if it comes down again, you don't sell, you add to the position, because ultimately, when the other signals align, it goes up. We decided not to do it because it's a little too complicated for most people. So that's why I stick with the trade success checklist. If you have 2 or 3 on the trade success score, where did that thing go here? Here it is. So here we have a trade success score of 4. I think we were talking about Solana there. ERI check. No TSI yet, but there was a green signal line. RSI Pro, bullish divergence. Hey, at 2 or 3, I start getting into that trade and start adding to that trade when we're getting above moving averages, breaking trend lines resistance. And if we see these are money flow blocks as part of the ERI Pro. We haven't seen some of these in a while. Let's go back in time though, because these have been very valuable. Down here, when we see that, that's money flow, big money coming in. And typically that is a very strong confirmation signal that prices are going to continue to go higher. Okay. And as of yet, I don't want to be, similarly, this red box here is not a great sign. That's sell pressure, money flow. But when we see these green blocks, that's where big money's come in and actually bought. The other one is sort of buyers on the limit, on the bid. So both bullish signals. Stronger buy signal are the buyers here in these green blocks. So when we see those and start seeing those again, it's going to be really time to pay attention and get back into the markets. So if you have any questions, by the way, guys, that those of you that already know the signals, let me know if you want me to cover anything. Where there was a rocket signal alert fired on Bitcoin 4-hour the other day, but the 4-hour rockets don't really, you really want to look for a daily or a weekly. So we've covered the rocket here and covered the checklist. The Bollinger Bands, again, bullish sign when it touches that lower modified Bollinger Band. This isn't the same one you download for free. It is our custom coded for crypto. And Steve Nissen, the old friend, used to speak at my seminars, kind of the author, grandfather of candlestick charting, told me once on a call, he said, because John Bollinger told him this, often when the Bollinger Bands, when price touches or breaches one of the bands, it will reverse and continue on to the other one. Not always, but that was something I'd never noticed. And so watching that can be useful. Look at this trade if you had bought in these green lines and as it broke that way down below the lower Bollinger Band and hold it, it went all the way back up to the upper Bollinger Band. So These are all clues you can use, like 3 inside up, when the radar is all green. And that's all I'm really going to talk about here because, and the bearish ones are obviously the opposite. Hey, this is Brett from Moonstream. If you'd like to learn more about our pro trading signals or our live classes every Wednesday or our Retire Rich program, go over to moonstream.io/start.